Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Arman Ahmad. The 2020 presidential election of the US is almost reaching its end, but there are still disputes, rumors, and debates on the vote fraud. So today, I'd like to tell a simple and logical fact for this case. Donald Trump already won the election, but he was silenced. Many people were surprised by the statement that Donald Trump made on November 4th, the day after the US election day. In that statement, Trump claimed he already won the election and demanded that Supreme Court should immediately order a suspension of state vote counting. Many people considered it as a laugh with the narrative that the vote counting is still not done yet, and Donald Trump already declared himself as the winner of the electoral race. What a shame for world's largest and most stabilized democracy. And Joe Biden, of course, didn't care about Trump's announcement. The Supreme Court didn't listen to Trump on the counting suspension either. And later days, Joe Biden's vote amount exceeded Donald Trump. So finally, seems Biden won the electoral race dramatically. What a story. What a victory for Democrats. Lots of Biden supporters posted and still posting tweets to mocking Trump, laughing at his previous announcement. Seriously, I felt shocked when I got the news about Joe Biden flipping the next day of election, actually. In fact, there is a certain rule in the US constitutional law that the Congress may determine the time of choosing the electors and the day on which they shall give their votes, which day shall be the same throughout the United States. It could be interpreted and analyzed that the date of elector choosing is not flexible by different states, but the exact date for all states, which is November 3rd, 2020, and the election day. There is a reason for this rule, exactly for excluding the vote fraud. When the constitutional law was made in 1787, the US was a confederation when the country came into existence. Later on, powers were given to the central government under the newly drafted and ratified constitution. Thus, there was a competition game among states. Choosing a president is, of course, one of the top cases of all states. For avoiding some states stealing the advantage by observing other states' vote and get profit as a final decider, the rule was set that every state make their own decision on the same date to assure fairness. In some cases, the vote decision didn't get made on the election day in US history. But finally, they got solved as a compromise among two parties instead of real contradiction. Now an important question arises. What if the votes got submitted, but they didn't finish counting the votes on the election day? Well, according to the rule, the person who got the most votes at the end of the day will be the winner. There's even a historical example for proving this rule in 1876. Rutherford Hayes won the election with 185, as compared to his competitors' 184 votes, while more than 20 votes got expired because they didn't got finished counting on the election day. So on November 4th, at 2 a.m., when Donald Trump declared that he won the election, he was right. He won the electoral race. And he should have the right to announce it even 2 hours earlier, exactly at 12 o'clock. Donald Trump won the election, but it was unconstitutionally stolen, because he was deprived of the basic and substantive rights such as holding meetings, press gatherings, delivering speech, and much more. The vote counting didn't stop until Joe Biden declared victory, and all the media congratulated Joe Biden's win. On November 6th, when Donald Trump made his speech and said, "I easily won the election," all the media interrupted him on TV and told public that he was lying and manipulating the realities and results. Think about it. A legal president who is in the House, appealing the Supreme Court to make a decision according to the constitutional law, but got ignored. Delivered a speech on TV, but got cut off. What a tragedy it is. Let's talk a bit more about the votes in lag and the Supreme Court. The first case is a votes in lag, or what we call the stolen election. The vote by mail ballot is fine, but votes in lag doesn't make any sense, especially when it causes a delay of president decision. People are arguing whether Joe Biden cheated or not. I think we can probably say that there is no cheating on the votes, because the problem is not really on the votes, but on structural flaws such as the submission date and counting date. Since the vote by mail ballot is the main weapon of Joe Biden, What he needs to do is just wait for more votes in the coming few days and keep counting all the votes. So he will exceed Donald Trump. There is no need to make minor cheating when he got the structural advantage already unconstitutionally. He can get as many votes as he wants if only the votes in lag counts for the election. Democrats prepared for the voting mail ballot thing for a very long while. And Pennsylvania Democrat Congress even made a law that they will accept the votes until November 9th. So now you know how confident they are and how important the votes in lag for them. There are much more space for manipulation if only they get more days, unconstitutionally. Since it's about violating the constitutional law, what about the Supreme Court? Will they support Donald Trump? I'm afraid not. Even if Donald Trump accused Joe Biden before the Supreme Court, he might still not win. If the Supreme Court really stands with him, they would stop the count at the end of November 3rd, as the law rules, but they didn't. In the separation of power system, the Supreme Court doesn't really intervene in the nomination issues, including on justice, on president, and on the Congress. That's also kind of structural issue. There are too many rivals and opponents of Donald Trump. The Democrats, the media, tech giants, Wall Street, they are resourceful together. And they never accepted Trump as the president of the United States. They were just waiting for the election for 4 years and decided replacing Trump with anyone else, even though all the process is violating the constitutional law. After this election, if Donald Trump loses it at the end of the day, probably the decline of the president's prestige and power will be a permanent one, because both the legal president and the constitutional law were denied in this election already. After the collapse of the Roman Empire, there was a title that Ultimus Romanorum, which means the last of Romans, describing the people who embody the spirit and value of Roman civilization, which is about to extinct right away. But they still bravely keep the spirit and go forward. I think Donald Trump and his supporters should be the last of the Americans. They are doomed to lose while they are doomed to win, unless there's a miracle waiting ahead. That's all for today. Thanks for watching the video. See you in the next episode.